You should do this. You shouldn't do that. You should wear this. You should move. You should do as I say. How often have you heard that? My name's Karen. I'm the host of The Oldish TV, and it's my pleasure to be with you here again today. And while I would like to say you should watch this, I'm not going to say that. As I've gotten older, I have heard more and more of my friends being told by others, you should. You should do this. You should do that. Like they know better about what's going on in your life. Sometimes, depending on the tone, it even sounds like it borders on bully behavior. A little bit. Sometimes it sounds that way to me. This past week was International Women's Day. And first of all, shout out to all the fabulous women out there. Women rule the world. And as I have heard it said so often, if every woman that could did vote, women would decide every single election everywhere in the world. I think that's probably still very true in most countries, if not all countries now. However, a female colleague, acquaintance really, of mine, posted on her Facebook page that she was going to post the photo of a woman who had been important in her life every hour throughout the entire day. And you should too. That's what her post said. You should too. Got the hackles up on my neck a bit and got me thinking of how often people presume to tell others, you should. And as we age and we start looking for the ways in which we will choose to spend the last few decades of our lives, people think they know what we should do. On this show, we have gone through a lot of options for people, and there are some things that I'm sure I have said, you should. I should be saying, it would be nice if you would consider, or you might want to consider. Because nobody should be telling you, you should. Can't get away from that word should, can we? We really can't. The bottom line is you cannot make someone do the things that they don't want to do unless you bully and strong arm them into it. I see that happening too, where adult children will be saying to perhaps a widowed father or mother, you can't stay where you are. You should move here. You need to move in with us or closer to us. You should, you must, you have to. We talked a couple of weeks ago about ageism. And this sort of speech pattern falls into an ageist way of thinking as well. That because you're older, you haven't got the capacity to think for yourself, to decide for yourself, to consider all the options that are available for yourself, to even see that there are options in some cases. That needs to stop, and it stops with us pushing back on people who want to should us and tell us what to do. Yes, our safety is of great concern to our adult children. However, provided we are of sound mind and making rational decisions in every other area of our lives, having somebody say to us, you can't make this decision or you should do whatever, predisposes the inclination that we can't make good decisions in every other area of our lives. When an adult makes a decision, when anybody makes a decision for that matter, there is always a consequence. I've told my children since they were little and they didn't even know what a consequence was, that for every decision you make, there is a consequence. Sometimes the consequences are good, sometimes the consequences are bad, but there is always a consequence. So for an adult to wish to stay in their own home, there may be consequences around safety. Some of those issues can be mitigated, and we've talked about how to mitigate so many issues on this show, and that is really what we're doing over on Real Life Renos. We're mitigating issues to make your life better, easier, safer, more efficient. If you choose to stay in your home, that comes with consequences. If you choose to mitigate some of the issues, that comes with consequences, which may be good. You may pull up the throw rugs, and that mitigates the issue of falls. The consequence is a good one. In this case, at least we hope it will be a good one, that you won't slip and fall and trip on other things. If you have adult children telling you you should leave that house, it's too big for you, you should come and move in with us, and you don't want to because your social life is where you are now, then, if your children are saying to you, you should, maybe you should be thinking of saying back to them, you should stop that. I'm a grown adult and I can make my own decisions. I understand the consequences. It's tough to have a big backbone and broad shoulders when you're dealing with your children, because you know that they love you and you love them, and everybody wants the best for everybody else. But their fears can't dictate your life. You understand that? Because they are afraid for your safety. That can't dictate your life. There can be a process where you reach a happy medium, where you sit down and have a conversation and make a list of the things that make them fearful, what your concerns are, and then together you can come up with mitigation strategies. You can do that. And then if you put those mitigation strategies into practice, that should alleviate everybody's concerns, right? And then you won't hear you should. It's very tough to banish the word should from a vocabulary, unless you're saying you should think about, or maybe you should consider. That kind of softens it a bit. I'm going to try to do better at banishing should from my vocabulary and telling people that they should do what I think they should do, when that may not fit into their lives at all. It may not fit into what their plan is. It may not fit into how they wish to live their life. It may not fit into their work life, their social life, the health aspects of their life that I may have no knowledge of. I think that's going to be my plan for the next little while. Banish the should. Join me? I do hope you'll join me next Wednesday at 12 noon for another edition of the Oldish TV. See, I didn't say should. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and do remember that it takes a village to age a senior.